Hello, friends, supporters, Erin, and my name is. I'm here with Erin once again. Say hello.
Hi, everybody.
Yes, and I wanted to talk a little bit and share with the people what we were wanting to present next, and just start a little bit with. What we did last time, which was called channeling the new circuitry. Mm-hmm. And then we were talking a bit and decided to kind of like take it all further. And because we were getting more inspiration and more vision about what should be coming next to present. Mm-hmm. And so what we were talking about was the idea of quantum wholeness. The idea of quantum wholeness as a new model of enlightenment and health, and the idea of stepping into quantum wholeness is the idea of making that which has maybe been felt or thought of as inaccessible, that much more accessible and approachable. And that taking it further from the new circuitry into the idea of a quantum wholeness, a simple wholeness. And so I wanted to get your take on some thoughts around this, and then we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a funny thing to conceptualize quantum wholeness, to try to give words to something that is often so wordless seeming, because my experience of the quantum and of wholeness in through my work and through the things that I've experienced with other masters, etc., is that it is really that space beyond any kind of structure. It's that space that we can root into and exist from, where it's kind of the nothingness, the everythingness. It's where all things come from. It's where the miracles arise, and where we can meet something in its biggest way that's so beyond any kind of concept that anything is possible. And therefore, we're no longer solving a problem at the level it's created at, as it's been so famously stated. And so I think both of us knew from the beginning that when we decided to offer the new circuitry, that there would be a few more growth moments from that this was going to be something that kept expanding on itself. Yes. And now that we've sort of laid that groundwork and that framework for new pathways of existence to be built and to be created, it naturally opens up into an experience of a inner wholeness and a new access to wholeness that, as you said, hadn't been so accessible before in regular, everyday, dualistic experience. So go ahead.
Yeah. Well, because it's interesting, because as we began to kind of broach and work with the concept a little bit, what became kind of clear and obvious, especially as I reflect on all the different people that I've worked with over the years, is that folks have been kind of inhibited and intimidated and even frightened by the idea of wholeness, especially as something as intimidating as the idea of enlightenment and such. And then you have to ask, well, what is the fear? It's like the fear of being whole which is analogous to the fear of being fully present, which means fully here, you know, and in the fullness of one's being. And then it occurred to us, you know, as we were discussing it, that the element seemed to be risk, that it feels somehow risky and dangerous to be operating in one's wholeness. It is as if being in that full radiant unity somehow makes one stand out and shine in a way that might feel uncomfortable, intimidating, scary, if you will. And it's like that element, it's that element of fear, the fear of risk, seems to be holding so many people back.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. And I know that you've seen this in people. Okay.
Yeah, almost everyone, really.
and we felt that within ourselves, but that has been a barrier. You see, it's like at some point we've had to transcend, to break past the sense of risk, the terror of the risk, and then step into it. And so I think that a lot of what we are going to be dealing with and clearing is that fundamental sense of intimidation, feeling inhibited. It's almost like not being allowed to step into the promised land, so to speak. Not feeling deserving enough, and that something bad might happen if you do. And it's like, so this is all of this stuff that we maybe don't know that we're harboring, that's been holding us back.
Yeah.
And it can be cleared.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well, and I think it's very multi-layered in the sense that we might conceptually think that we don't see a risk with that. Of course, we want to go there. Of course, we want to feel that wholeness. But, you know, there are so many layers within the body, within the mind, that construct stories and ways that we keep ourselves small. And, you know, even on top of that, just even sometimes that very final step. And I see this a lot with people where they've cleared so much, you know, like the old stories aren't there. They're ready to go, you know, they're ready to step into their biggest self. And then it's like, there's just this final little hurdle to jump over, seeming hurdle to jump over. And that's where you get stuck. And that final little hurdle is this almost indescribable plug-in and courage that it takes to just go, I'm willing to go to this place where almost no one goes. And the beauty of having mentors or guides or gurus or whatever you want to call it is often, as you've said, it's like they're taking on the risk for you. They're holding that space of, hey, I did it and I survived and you can jump too. But I think that there's an even deeper initiation that we can call forward within ourselves for that oomph, for that heart-based courage that can open and take us over that finish line into that space where we go,
Exactly. Because you just said it. You hit the nail on the head. Heart-based courage, and one of the things that I always remind people about is the idea of the Latin word for heart is cur. Where we get the word courage. So we're talking about simply being in one's heart as courageous. So it's like the way of transcending that fear is an activation of the heart. It is being fully resting and grounding in one's heart that allows one and gives permission to be whole. It's like permission to fill all of the space, all of the dimensional space. You see, and to be in touch with that eternal sense that you will survive, that you cannot be erased, that there's an aspect of you that is eternal, that cannot die, and therefore there's a safety in one's wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and
Yes.
so that's what this is about. That's what we are going for this time.
Well, and it's actually so deeply practical, as mystical and almost like non-tangible as it seems. It's actually so deeply practical. And yeah, and I think that's part of why we approach things the way that we do, is because, you know, all of these things have been written off as the risky thing, when actually it's the most safe and grounded thing that you can do for yourself.
Yeah, precisely, because I think that this is all timely, because it's necessary at this time to be able to, for the average person, for lack of a better term, to be able to access and grasp the notion of wholeness / i.e. enlightenment from a very, very accessible place. It need not be complex. And it's something that is our birthright as beings. You see, so it's, in a sense, it's almost like we're called to invite people into that space and say that it is easy, you see, that it's accessible, and it's fun. So I really love the idea of the notion of the spiritual playground, establishing, you know, the spiritual playground, the field in which being in one's wholeness feels so safe and so natural that the natural state of our empathic selves is allowed to run free and play.
Yeah.
You see, and so I'm always looking for ways to sort out, well, how can we make this so easy, so accessible to people, and so that's I think where we're at. It's time for it to be that accessible. You see, and I think that's really what we're doing, and what we're bringing forth here.
Yeah, it's time for our existential selves to be as much a part of our everyday experience as our tangible experience of self. And I think that's been a big missing piece in people feeling whole. Most of us walk around thinking we're just these human beings. And, you know, without that deeper existential part of ourselves present, I find that people are always searching for something. It's like they're just like, what is it that I'm missing, you know? And it's like deep down, we know that is very much a part of who we are. And yet we don't take it on.
Yeah, exactly. That it needs to be very natural and accessible and understood as a part of who we are. It's our, you know, that state is our birthright. So we're looking at doing a little thing on the 21st of May, which is a Saturday, and that'll be 6:30 West Coast time and 9:30 East Coast time, and it should be quite an extraordinary experience. We're going to have all kinds of processes and teaching and toning and visualizations, ways of grounding it in, making this space, this state, something that is utterly accessible, and that we're able to keep it, to hold it, to be able to access it far beyond, the time of the event.
Yeah.
You see, so that is something that we carry with us. We're able to have permission to carry with us continually from now and from then on. So,
yes. Well said.
there you go. So Saturday, 21st of May,
Yep.
6:30 West Coast time, 9:30 East Coast time, and we'll be there. So
it'll be a party, as always.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm very, very much looking forward to it. Okay, well, thank you, Erin. Thank you.
And, thank you. And I can't wait to hang out in the mystical and human wholeness that we are cultivating all together. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Exactly. Perfect. Okay. Namaste.
Namaste.
Okay.